concepts in Mike Flood, and how you can, where we can apply this Mike Flood model or software. So in Mike Flood, as I said, it's a coupling tool. So you have to develop, first of all, your 1D model using Mike Hydro River. Data required is your river network, including cross sections. This is the most important data, the cross section. And then your hydrometric data, that will be your boundary conditions. It can be either water level, discharge, or if you are going for RR, then rainfall and evaporation data. And then initial condition to get start the model, HD parameter, your bed resistance. This will be your 1D HD model without RR. So then defining your 2D domain using Mike 21 grid or flexible mesh. You have to define your 2D domain using your mesh generator, or you can convert your DM to your DFS2 as bathymetry. So then we will use Mike Flood for coupling purpose, coupling of both. So as I told you how you can download the software, installation is quite simple. So once you download the software, you have to go to your start menu and say Mike 0. If I write 0, so you will find this application. Once you install the software, and it can run without license also in demo mode. There are some limitations that you can create the network to this much, the river length and all those things. So there are some limitations, but you can practice, well within limits in demo mode also. So that self-paced training course I introduced you, the link I shared, you can create that similar kind of model in demo mode itself. And also I would like to inform you, if you are going for any internship with your college, and we also provide 6 months internship license for the students. So any research scholar, if you are looking forward to do any internship on any subject using Mike software, you can put a request simply to me also or Mike.in, and we can provide you a 6-month license also. So I'd like to open this Mike 0 application. I click on it. Oh, so this is Mike 0 shell basically, and as you can see on the left side, there is a tab that is called Install Examples. So if you click on it, these are all the example files already developed. Models are given here. You can install this and go through the model one by one of your interest. Might be Mike Flood, Mike Hydro, or Mike Basin. Mike Hydro includes, as you can see, both basin and river. So under Mike Hydro, there are 2 modules. One is basin, one is river. So if you click on this, suppose I want to install this, you have to give the path where you want to install these examples, and you can simply install. I've already installed it, so I'm not going to override them, but this is how you can install the examples. On the right side, you can see there are 3 tabs: new project, open project, and delete project. You can simply create a new model, but if you create a project itself, it will automatically create a directory. This is the way of creating a model, and it will give you the directory. In that there will be subfolders of external data, model, results, presentation, and reports, all those things. So if I say new project and I say I want to create a directory for my project, so there is an option of create directory for a project. So once you create, put the project name, client name, and give the path, it will give you the directory. Sorry, the directory I mean to say is something like that. You will get this directory automatically: external data, your final report, model, and results. So it is instructed that you put your data in here, save your model in model folder. So this is because once you create a model, and if you want to share it with someone, so it should be under one folder. So otherwise it loses the connection with the data, and it can be a mismatch. So this is the one way. And now if you want to create a new model, there are 2 options for that: file, new file, and also you can click simply on this new option. As you can see on the left side, these are the products, and on the right side, these are the documents or files that exist in these products. So in Mike 0, you can see these are the 4 of them are data. So time series is DFS 0. So we have this, time series means you have daily data or hourly data in the form of Excel or recorded. So if you have it in the form of Excel, you have to simply copy and paste and it will get into the format of DFS0. Then you can create the profile series of water level. Then grid series will be your either DFS3 or DFS2. Then data manager, this will be your, again it can be DFSU, your dot mesh, or DFSU. So in this we are going to use in MikeFlood itself, there is one way, that is creating a rectangular grid. For that you can go to Mike0 toolbox, and if you go to Mike0 toolbox, there is a option of GIS. In this you can simply create grid to Mike. So in this you have to give your DM, and it will get converted into DFS2. So while converting, you have to take care of three things. First is file type, that should be your bathymetry in case of, as your 2D input. And there are also, in data type, there are various options available. So I'll open one of the DFS2 files and show you. And the second is your land value. Land value is the maximum elevation, up to which point you want to see the flooding scenario. And delete values are your grid values. So there should be no delete value, no blank grid should be there in DFS2, and your land value should not be 0. It should be some value up to what point you want to see the flood scenario. So this is the one way of creating DFS2. And if I close this, then if you want to create a mesh, so if you have this XYZ data with you, you can generate a mesh using mesh generator. And if I open mesh generator, these are for 2D inputs, grid series and MDF. Further, we can export our mesh as dot mesh or DFS2 also. So this is for 2D inputs, I'm telling you. So because in 1D we have the shapefiles in toolbox. Again, if I open toolbox, so I'm just telling you in a bit of rush, but you can explore these options in GIS itself. If you have any Mike file, you can convert it into shapefile, and if you have any shapefile, you can convert it into XYZ. So if you want to put river into the mesh generator, so if you have shapefile, simply you can convert it into XYZ in a particular format without any heading and all those things. So you can directly import the XYZ file and give the you can give the river inside the 2D domain. So basically, when you are coupling both river and your 2D domain, your river cells will be blank, because we are already given all the data and all those river network in Hydro River. But if you are running this, you see 2D model itself without any coupling. So in that, if you want to define the river, you can convert it into XYZ from the shapefile using this tool. And then you can delete the values from those river grids. So there will be no calculation in that river. So this is the one way. Again, just go through that self-paced training course. You will get better idea. And if you find any problem, you can always get back to me. So this is the one way. There are other options available under Mike0. So you can explore this. And now comes the important part, that is your Mike Hydro model. Now we are speaking about 1D only for now. And if you go to Mike21, there are two options. One is flow model.m21. This is for your rectangular grid, and flow model FM. FM means flexible mesh. So to create a flexible mesh, we use a mesh generator. We export it as dot mesh or DFS2. That input will go into this model. And if you have a rectangular grid model selected, you can convert your DM simply into this DFS2 using that my grid to Mike tool, and that input will go into this model. So this is basically 2D domain you have to give, and it's all about elevation. So this is both are accurate. This is more detailed, and this is like a regular one. So your grid is like, if you have 5 by 5 selected, 10 by 10, so it will be regular throughout. There's third option in Mike for 2D modeling, that is your Mike21C. This is for curvilinear flow model. Again, in this, using mesh generator only, you have to create the input for this. The input will be dot mesh or DFS2 in curvilinear, because basically you can give the curve to your mesh. This will be in this will be like rectangular, and this will be either quadrilateral or triangular mesh. And this will be, you can generate the curve. So these are the three options. Mic 11, it was before, it was mic 11. In this, you have to develop the separate files. So river network, cross sections, all those files separately. But under mic hydro river itself, it's all combined all together. So we'll open one of the model, and if I can open already developed model. Just a minute. Yeah. So this green symbol shows that this is the mic hydro river model, and if I can view the extensions, it's already viewed here. So .m hydro. So if I double click on this, it will take a few seconds. So this is one basic model that is developed in the Kerala region for Manimala river. So now this is your mic hydro river window, graphical user interface. On the left side, you can see the setup, and this is your setup. This is your symbology tab, where you can change the color, width, and all those things of your features in the network. And this will be your results tab. You can add the result by yourself, but once you run the model, the results will reflect automatically in this. So I will go through quickly go through this setup view one by one. As I told you in the presentation itself, modules. Under this, there are two options for model type, that is basin and river. We choose river, and for now we are discussing about hydrodynamic, and if you want to include rainfall runoff over it, yes. And then other options available for water quality, advection and dispersion, sediment transport, and data assimilation. So for now, if I uncheck rainfall runoff, you can see there will be no catchment tab here. So if I click on rainfall runoff, now there is one catchment tab. So rainfall runoff is, again, I'll explain this rainfall runoff. First, we will go through HD. So description, if you want to describe your model further, and this is your time simulation period. If I apply default, so I have given a time series. This will take that time from the time series itself. If I click on apply default, oh, there's no DFS0 file. Okay. But once you have this DFS0 file in this, the time step, the simulation time will automatically taken from that. Otherwise, if you define the simulation time within that time series, you can, like, if you have provided the time series for 10 years, but you want to run it for 2 years, so you can define that simulation period. Then comes your time step control. I have explained already. Then fixed time step, tabulated, and adaptive. In adaptive, you can set the range from minimum to maximum. Then coordinate system, if I go to coordinate system, and you can browse, as I told that for India, it's from 42N to 46N, and my region is in 43N, Kerala. So this is how you can simply click on browse. Oops. Reading projection, there's some. So there are options for that. If you already know, like if you say find and write 44N or something, so you'll get the option. Please take care of this thing. It should be in WGS 1984 UTM zone 43, because there are other options available in this WGS 84, then the zone. So that was the previous one. This is the updated one. And also whatever projection you are giving to your model, all the inputs should be in the same projection. All the inputs means your raster file and your shape file. Cross sections we will develop here only. Time series we can develop here only. For all those things we don't need any coordinate system. But for your raster and your shape files, whether it's river, catchment, whatever, so that should be in the same projection. You can also import the .prg file if you have any .prg file, and import, and that projection will reflect here. So this is how you can define the projection system and background map. If you have a good internet connectivity, you can provide the background map, whether it's satellite image, terrain, or whatever. Then comes the background layer. again, this background layer just for the what you say for visualization purpose. But if you add any raster, that raster will reflect under DEM. So if I click on background layer, this is the option. If you click on this plus sign, these are the three options that are available to add the raster file. If I click raster file, shapefile, or image file, if I click on, so before it was you can import only ASCII format or DFS2. Now it is available with GeoTIFF also. So once you download your DEM digital elevation model from any given site, it will be in the format of .tiff, so you can directly import it. So I'll delete this now. I think I have one DEM already there. No, so I'll just to show you, I'll import one DEM. I click on this. Oops, I need to change this. So this is my projected one. So that's how you can import the DEM. I think we can visualize in the map view also. Yes. So this is how you can import your DEM for your study area. I'll just uncheck this and I'll keep it to country shapefile. So once you import that DEM, whether you want to use it for cross-section creation and use DEM for river tracing and catchment, this is something the process we use in ArcGIS under hydrology tool, flow, fill, and all those things. So I'll use it for both of them. As you can see, okay, I'll click on this. Pre-process digital elevation model. So once you pre-process and it will be up to date. So again, it is advisable, if you know your study area very well, clip your DEM to that for that study area particularly, and then pre-process it. It will take lesser time. It's basically for time saving. So if now I will pre-process, it will take 2 to 3 minutes. I will pre-process so that we can get to know about the delineation thing also. So it will go through 4 or 5 iterations. Now it's up to date. So once it's up to date in map view, if you go under branches, so this add trace button, this was disabled before. I forgot to show you, but this will be unhighlighted if your DEM is not up to date in pre-processing. So now we can use the DEM for trace purpose, for generation of cross sections, and if you are into the RR model, you can create the delineate the catchment also. So this is the purpose of digital elevation model. Then working area, if you want to define your working area, particularly you can create a rectangle. This is again for time saving. You can customize your layout accordingly. Now comes the important part, that is your river network. So river network, again, river network is your branches. There are three options, two options here available. One is add. So in add, you can digitize your river like this. And once you double click, it will stop the digitization thing. And second is add trace. So you see, it will give you the river direction automatically. So if you know your river, like my river is like this, and you can simply trace the river using this DM. And third option is importing from shapefile. So if you click on your branches, and you can simply import the .shp file, and it will reflect under branches. So now there are two things. If you import your shapefile here, there is an option of importing the shapefile in background layer also. That will also be visible in the map, but that will be for visualization purpose. But if you import your shapefile using this import from shapefiles, this will be your part of your network. You can simply edit, and if you want to define the chainage and all those things, you can do. But in background layer, this is for visualization purpose only. And second option, whatever you are creating here, you can export it to shapefile also. So it's a vice versa process. So this is how you can now in branches. This is the map view. In tabular view, you can see once you trace your river or import, as I've digitized one, you know, it's automatically calculated the chainage. So this is not very much meaningful. I'll delete this. You can delete. Again, you can delete it from here, and there is an option of deleting the river from here also. So you can select this delete option, and if you go nearby, this pencil will come, and if you click on it, it will delete the branch. So you can define this chainage by yourself. Topo ID, this topo ID is important. Whatever topo ID you have given here, by default, it is like topo question mark. So the cross sections will be generated on the basis of that only. Routing method is for if you want to, distribute the water from the river. For simple 1D HD, we are not getting it. This is for defining the left and right extent of your river. So now cross section. I'm just explaining again. I'm just explaining the simple 1D HD model. So there are various options that are available for 1D in 1D modeling itself under Hydro River. So you can explore. But for now, I'm just explaining how you can quickly develop a simple 1D HD model to see the river behavior in the terms of water level and discharge. So it's 1D. At least you can find out the points, the chainage. Okay, fine. This point is flood prone, or flooding can happen in at this location. So now comes the cross sections. First, you need to give the file. If you don't have any file, you can create, and this will create a blank file. Once you have the blank file, then you will go back to your maps and cross section and say auto generate cross sections. So there are two options, whether you want to generate the cross sections using DEM or your survey points from the shapefile. So if you have the survey points from your shapefile, you can import that shapefile into your background layers itself, and it will reflect here. As I have one shapefile, two shapefiles, one is rainfall locations and one is location of a discharge calculation point. So if you have the survey points, you can simply import that and it will reflect here. And on the basis of that, it will delineate it will generate the cross sections. For now, we have the DEM. So first is your interval, that is interval between the two cross sections. Second is your width of the cross section. So if you give these values and say table of reaches and say import all, for now I have one river only. So at every 1,000 meters, that means we have 94,000 long, 94 plus one at the upstream, one at the downstream. 95 cross sections will be delineated. So, and once you say cross sections will be generated, not delineated. So once you say generate, it will generate the cross sections. Let's say generate. 96 cross sections generated, 94 at every interval, one at the top and one at the bottom. So say close. Now if you go back to your cross section tab, and say tabular. These are the cross sections. Now you see this processed, because in branches I have chosen processed. I have written processed. If I say any other name, say at the interval of at river width at 400, and again I will go to my map and cross sections and say generate. I'll generate at 400. Table of reaches, import all, say generate again. (96) cross sections generated. Now you go to tabular view. Now this will be under 400. You see 400. So you can like delineate, generate perfect cross section for me, and you put it under your processed cross. Okay, I got disconnected. At what point I got disconnected? I'll just start again. Anyone can you tell me? Just in between I got disconnected, I guess. So hello, am I audible? Okay, cross section only. Yeah. So this is how you can generate the cross sections, and in this cross sections these 3 points are important. This is your left levy, this is your bottom point, and this is your right levy. So if you click on this point and click on this bar, so this is your left levy. This is how you can define the cross sections. So this is, there will be an embankment here. Embankment in the sense your cross section is fixed, and your cross section is fixed on the right side, and this is your bottom point. So with respect to this only, the calculation of water level and discharge will take place. Then comes the properties of defining your cross section. As I said, you can give Manning's M or Manning's N in the cross sections itself, and if you keep it relative resistance uniform to 1 or 1.5, whatever, then it will go as a multiplier to your HD parameter with whatever you will define as your bed resistance. So you need to work on your cross sections a bit. If you are generating it from your DM, if your DM is good enough, you will get the better cross sections. As I did got some better cross sections. This is a bit wrong. So you need to rectify and correct your cross sections to get the better results. Again, in tools and plugins, if I go, you can also import from your TXT file. So if you have the cross sections in the form of your TXT file, you can simply import the cross sections. Then comes the structures. For simple one, I won't discuss much on structures, but you can provide structures also. You can include structures. You simply go down, and if you say plus, and there will be a structure, at a given chainage, at what chainage you want to provide a wear, then you have to give the geometry, level and width. And major thing, you have to calculate the QH relation. So every time once you provide the structure, and if you make any changes into your structure, you must calculate the flow, must do the flow calculations. So these are the various structures you can provide in your 1D model. So if you have any control structures like gates or dam break or pumps, you can provide the sensor details also. So again, this comes into a bit of, not very much detail, but bit of details. So then comes your HD parameter. HD parameter is your bed resistance. You can keep it uniform. You can give the HD parameter in terms of multiple zones, and I have defined 30 here. This will go as multiplier of your relative resistance in the cross section. If you have 1.5 written there, so your it will go as 1.5 into 30. So now it's 1, that means it will be 30. So if you choose it to Manning's N, it will be 0.03. So for whole number, you can keep it Manning's M. Then comes again the major part, that is your boundary conditions. I have two boundary conditions. I have kept it closed for now because I was providing this rainfall runoff over it. But if you keep it as discharge at the start chainage at the top, and in discharge, either you can give it, as time varying or constant discharge. So if you give the time varying discharge, you have to give it as a time series. So for time series, you can create a new file here itself. In Mike0 also, I told you, you can find a blank time series file. And in this, again, explaining the time series, if I go to edit in time series. So this is my time series with discharge. So if I go edit and the properties, so these are there are a few things you need to explain in time series. Generally, we keep it as non-equidistant calendar axis so that you can simply copy and paste the data from your Excel. And then for how many rows you have the data, you have to give that value and the type of your time series. There are various types that are available, and you have to select and say OK. So that will create a blank time series. So you need to take care that your time should be in this format, in which whatever interval you have the data and your discharge value. So in one time series only, if you want to include water level or some other data, so you can go and say properties again. So you can insert one more row. So if you insert one more row and say OK, you will have the one more row and you can add the data. So for now, don't need. And delete this. Again, in this, once you choose the time series type, this is also important. For rainfall, it should be accumulated or step accumulated. Discharge, yes, we can get an instantaneous value for discharge. So you can choose instantaneous. So you need to take care of this. Say OK. This is how you can create a time series. I explained it very quickly, but you can practice. And if you face any problem, that is what I'm saying again and again. But so no, I won't. Yes, I want to close this. So you give a discharge, and at the downstream, you can give QH relation as well as the free outflow. Right. So you can give free outflow. In case of your rainfall runoff, you have to provide the rainfall and evaporation in separate terms. But here also you can give the rainfall and evaporation. So then comes your wind friction and groundwater leakage. We won't go into that. And you can do the Mike-Shi coupling. So if you have Mike-Shi model prepared, you can couple it with your Mike Hydro, and you can see the surface and groundwater interaction. Then comes your standard results. Yes, at what time step you want to save your result, where you want to save your result, you can keep it as a default folder, or you can also choose the path you want to save your results. It will give you two basic results. One is water level and other one is discharge. And if you want to include additional results, the question that came up in the first session, you can include the additional results, Reynolds number, fraud number, and all those things. So this is your model complete. 1D HD. Again, I will explain two things that are important. One is your river network with cross sections. Then your boundary conditions. One is discharge or whatever boundary condition you want to give in terms of DFS 0. First, the boundary at the top, start chainage, and boundary at the end chainage. So these are open boundaries. So in this, if you go to, I will go to standard, create open end boundaries. So there are two open end boundaries in each river. And if there are tributary, there is any tributary coming into the river, so there will be one added open boundary, and you can give the inflow at that point where at that chainage where that river is getting into the joining the tributary joining the river. So open end boundaries you can create automatically and give the data. Then you have to define your bed resistance, whatever bed resistance you want to give. One important thing, HD initial condition. So user defined, it should be user defined. So you can keep it 0, that water depth is 0. and your model is very much completed, then you simply go to this run and say extended validation. It the message whether there is any error or not, and if there is no error, this error is like error with the inputs, not with the model. So there is no input error or warning. You can simply run your simulation. I'll just get back in 2 minutes. Yes. So once you run your model, and if it is successfully ran, the results will be here. It will give you the results. One is simple run. It will give you the results as HD. If you have run simply your RR only, it will give you the results for RR. And also if you have added NAM, added results, it will give you the added results for that. So if I discuss about HD only, you can see data types. One is your water level, another is your discharge. So for the river branch Manimala, water level at every cross section, you see at every cross section with the interval of 2000, I have created few cross sections. That is the result for that. So at every cross section we have the results. And for discharge, you have the discharge in between those cross sections. So if you plot this and say right click, add to new plot. It got hanged or what? So again, I cannot show you this graph because there's something wrong with this drag thing. So anyway, so you will see this. You can plot the graph here only, and you can add to the current plot. But I can show you these results in my view also. My view. So the same results. If I say my view, say open. The water level and discharge for this much of time period I've ran the model. Say okay. So this is my river, and I want to plot the say time series for the water level and list at what chainage you want to plot. Select the chainage, say 6000, and say draw graph. No, this is wrong. This no. Let's say at any other chainage, something wrong with the results, then it's not plotting. Why it's coming blank? It should not be blank. try and open again. To plot the profile. You see, this is your water level profile. There is something wrong with the time series. It's not plotting. So this is your longitudinal profile of the river at every chain edge. You know, the red one is the maximum water level. So wherever it will breach, if I zoom in, if I can, again that drag thing. So wherever it will breach the left or right bank, the flooding will happen. You can also see this. I'll go back. Zoom out. If I can run the animation, so there should be water, and the water we will see some water in the month of July, because there will be some rainfall in the month of July and will be a higher discharge. So you'll find water flowing through your longitudinal profile, and this red dotted line is your maximum water level. The the dark black line is your left bank, and again this black dotted line is your right bank. So there are some breaches at this point, at this location, you can see. So it depends on your data. So again, that garbage in and garbage out thing. So similarly, you can also plot, if I stop it, you can plot the cross section. So if I plot the cross section at this point, so you can see, you can plot the cross section also, and you can see that how water is moving in that particular cross section. So this is the cross section at 52,000. So again, this is the maximum water level in your cross section. So this is how you can analyze your result further. Once you include your RR thing and run the couple of 1D and RR, HD and RR, the results will be different. Then calibration process takes place both in 1D HD and RR. So I won't go into RR thing because I guess I need to explain this mic flood. So this is how you can prepare a simple 1D model. Now I'll quickly shift to mic flood. If you have any questions in this, I'll just check. Did I get any questions? Okay, for now it's not there. I'll just take 45 minutes, and for 15 minutes we'll keep the this question and answer session. I have prepared one .m hydro. I have prepared one rectangular grid model .m21, but I will show you one of the examples of the installed examples if I have. So mic 0, yes, mic flood. So there are various linking and all this three-way flooding that includes your urban. I'll go through this only. If I can open this. So this is the window for your mic flood. Again, you can open this from mic 0 shell and say mic flood, choose dot couple, and you can simply open. This is a coupling tool. So you have to link your three models. One is your river model, whether you have prepared in 1.1 or .m hydro. So you can import your that models, and then your 2D surface model again in this, whether it's m.21, whether it's m.fm. So you can import that model into this. If I go to, oh, this is opening the mic plus thing. This, oh, urban model. Okay, if I go to edit 21 input, I'll quickly explain so this is for .m21 FM 2D domain. This is in the form of .mesh. You can see the river part is excluded from the mesh, and this you need to prepare in your mesh generator .mdf file. This is one of the, I'll explain Mike Plus also, urban model. So this is the major input. So whatever you have provided while creating this mesh in .mdf, you can export it into DFS2 or .mesh. It will reflect here. Then again, for how much time period you want to run the model, and this is your model selection. In case of FM flexible mesh, you don't need to check this inlet flooding. If you are going for just simple grid, you need to tick this point, inlet flooding. Again, there are various other options that are available, sand transport, mud transport and all. So now hydrodynamic solution technique. In this, you need to, now this hydrodynamic is the surface, that after flooding, how the water will flow on your 2D surface. That hydrodynamic is how the water was flowing in the river. That was for river. Now this is for 2D surface. So you need to have this, all these options defined. What will be your flooding and drying depth, wetting and drying depth. So keep in mind your wetting depth should be larger than your drying depth, and keep these values to the minimum. Then eddy's viscosity, there are various formulas available that you can use. Again, go through this one by one, and again it's in this also what will be your bed resistance, how your pyrolysis type will vary in the domain, wind force if there is any, ice coverage, tidal potential, no. Then precipitation and evaporation. Now you can provide the precipitation and evaporation for this 2D domain, but generally what we do is whatever the water is there that will impact, we have defined the catchment through rainfall runoff, and we have defined given the rainfall and evaporation data there only. So we are not implying any data in this. But if you want to simply run the 2D model itself, if the rainfall is happening and how that water will move into your 2D surface, you can check that by providing some precipitation. So no wave radiations. These sources, whatever you have defined in your mesh will be there. Then again, in this boundary conditions, it has been defined in the your mesh only. In this also, one thing is important, that is surface elevation. Now for surface elevation, you can provide the constant value, but it is advisable to provide your DM. So your DM can be converted into DFS2 with type surface elevation. For input, it was DFS2 with type bathymetry, but for this initial condition, it should be in surface elevation type. So then you can give the outputs. If I go to output and output specification, so what you really want to looking after 2D horizontal mass pressure discharge or inundation. There are other items you can include. There are additional items that are available that you can include. So this is your 2D model. And if I go to my flood back, this is your 1D, this is your 2D. Once you import these two models into your this Mike flood, third one is your urban model. Before it was Mike urban, then it got Mike urban plus with integrated platform. Now it is Mike plus. So third one will be your MUPP. This is for the Mike flood. Once you have imported these models, second important thing comes is connectivity. Now you need to connect your model with respect to your river and your urban model. So all these three should be connected with each other to see three-way flooding scenario. So for linkage and all, there are various options. If you simply click on simply right click on this graph, there is an option of link branch to your M21, and it will link your whatever you have prepared in Hydro River to your 21, and if you have any natural channels employed in your urban model, that will also will connect it to your 2D domain, and also your urban nodes. Nodes means your manholes. Urban nodes will also get connected to your 2D surface, then river branch to urban network, then your river to your urban network. So this is the three-way coupling. So your river to 2D, any natural channel provided in urban model, that to 2D, manholes, your nodes to 2D, then your 1D to your urban network. So if you simply click on all these options, it will connect, and you can see the linking one by one in all these tabs. Then again, you have to simply, you can run. First, you need to pre-process your Mike Plus urban model, and then you can simply start simulation. It will give you the results in the form of DFS2 only. DFS2, 2D domain. So you can check the extent of flooding, the inundation part, all those things you can check in your that DFS2. So wherever you will specify, and the results, whatever you have specified here, if I show you again, whatever you have specified here in the outputs, view specification, there is, yes, output file. So whatever you have specified here, the results will go to that location, which includes all three components, your urban, river, as well as your 2D surface. This is more or less about Mike Flood. It was quite quick, but once you go through it one by one, it's a very, very useful tool, I would say, for flooding. Either it's floodplain or your urban flooding. The next development that took place, what we call Mike Plus, is the new Mike Flood. In that, you don't have to create a separate model like we did in this and get to Mike Flood and link all those, define all those things, and then run the model. Now there's a single platform under which you can develop all those softwares, all those models under one platform. Just a minute. This. So there's a new development that is Mike Plus, and you will find it under cities part in Mike powered by DHI. So understanding about Mike Plus, again, once you install Mike Plus and say Mike Plus, you will get this application. You get this application and you can open, and once you open, this window will reflect, not this one, but if I open new project here only, say yes. I'll just quickly explain the so this window will open. So there are three options. One is river collection system and overland flows. By the model type itself, you can understand that you can prepare your river network, collection system, and overland flows under one platform. Then if you have developed stormwater management using this Swim 5 collection system, you can import directly. Then you can also create your water distribution. So if you select this river collection system and overland, this will go again. You can do not in this, you cannot do coastal flooding. You can simply see the backwater effect within that river range, but you cannot see coastal flooding. But you can, riverine flooding, you can simply model in Mike Flood, in this Mike Plus, and also urban flooding, just your collection system and overland, that you can see, and the impact of all three, river, collection system, and overland, three-way flooding you can do. So unit system you have to choose, and the database type, whether it's SQLite or PostGIS, that you need to choose. If you already have some database in this .SQLite or PostGIS, you can also import that. Then you have to give the file path, and so there are two file paths. One is SQLite. This will save all your database, and one is your .mupp Mike Urban project, Mike Urban Plus project. This will save all the again the symbology, whatever the layout you have given to your model. this will save under this .mupp. Then your coordinate system, you have to define the coordinate system much similar to what we have defined there. And keep in mind, this is very important. Before you create a model, you just choose the right coordinate system right here only. Just once you go into the model, you cannot change the coordinate system. You can change, but sometimes there is a shift of data can take place. So if you have MikeUrban Plus classic model already available, you can import that urban model directly. This is for the projection point of view, but there is an option of import, so you can directly import. Then background map, this is also similar description, and you say okay. Say yes, okay. So this is the graphical user interface for Mike Plus. This again one by one model type. From here itself you will understand. So you see these are the options available: your river network, collection system, catchments, and with 2D overland. If you have already prepared your hydro river, you can connect your hydro river directly. If you are already prepared your 21 with flow model or Mike 3 flow model, you can also couple that directly. HD, RR, then again advection dispersion or sediment transport, whatever option you want to choose and want to do modeling for, you can do. So without getting into this RR, again one by one map configuration, you can choose the coordinate system here also, but again just before start, just you need to take care that it's well in you have chosen the right coordinate system. Background map. Then CS network. CS network is your collection system. If that will be more meaningful if I open one of the models that is already created. Again, in Mike Plus also there is an option of installing the examples. I have installed few Mike Plus examples. This one, this is for urban flooding, and this one, this is for maybe three-way flooding, Blue Beach. So this is one of the example. As you can see, flexible mesh prepared. Over that there is a collection system and there's a river network with red color cross sections. So this is the model prepared with three-way coupling. Let's see what it has been chosen in the model type. If you go to general settings, model type, so catchment included, collection system included, river network with 2D overland, rainfall runoff and hydrodynamic. So now we'll go one by one that how it has been prepared. If you see with the collection system, two things that are important in collection system. One is your ground level, and ground level is your elevation. So that if you have the elevation for each manhole, you can get it from the department. If you don't have, there is an option under tools, I guess. No, not tools, but CS network, special tools. Yeah. Under network editing tools, you can interpolate or your nodes ground level. So choose nodes, then say ground level and overall assignment. This will once you run, this will interpolate the ground level with respect to the DM. So first you need to add your DM. So for adding your DM, there is an option of add layer in layers and symbology. And if you say add, what kind of layer you want to add, raster layer, DFS2, under this also option of GeoTIFF, yes. So once you add your DM, you can simply calculate the ground level. Now you have the ground level, but your sewage system is at the bottom. So you have to give the bottom level with respect to your ground level. And you need to take care of CPHEEO manual that has been developed by the ministry. And norms and design terms are given in that what should be the ground level, no, not what should be the ground level, but how you need to calculate the bottom level, to what extent you can do the digging, and at what extent you can use the pumps, because by using the pumps is a costly affair, and we go with the digging itself. So these are the various things you need to take care. On the basis of this bottom level, in this there are these two things are important. The diameter, you can assign the diameter of the manhole. This is for the circular manhole. There are instances where we are available with the rectangular manhole. So in the further update in 2022 version, that rectangular option will be there. Then pipes and canals, on the basis of your bottom level, collection system follows the gravity thing. It goes with the gravity flow. So you need to take care that you are connecting higher elevation to lower elevation. So the connection of pipes should be in that sense. So this will be your collection system. Simple two things. One is your nodes, then is your pipes and canals. This is simple collection system. And if you have any dendritic shapes, or this is for the rivers, okay, provide. Then comes your river network. It's again much similar to what we did in Mike Hydro River. So if you go to map and say river network, say target layer, your rivers, and you can create. You can simply create the river, and in this also there is an option of import. You're importing the shapefile. Click on file. There is an option of, where was that option of import? Yeah, this one, import and export. And you need to add the job, and you can import the shapefile into your model as your network file. And for the background purpose, you need to add your feature layer from here. So that will be, shapefile will be your feature layer. This is how you can develop your river network with same cross section and all those things. So if you have any structure in the river provided, you can create, define that structure. Then bed roughness, similar to the previous one. Then comes your 2D overland. Now, in the previous version, that is Mike Flood, and you have to create your inputs at a different platform, then bring it into Mike Flood, Mike 21. But in this, and you can create the domain here itself. So whether you want to create flexible mesh or rectangular grid, if you have already created the mesh or your DFS2 file rectangular grid, you can import that, and domain file created from Mike plus definition. If you want to create it here itself, you can create. So for that, if creating a mesh, you have to define the element area, and smallest allowable angle, and you need to interpolate. Here you need to add the your bathymetry file, your DFS2 file. On the basis of that, interpolation will take place, and it will give you the mesh, something like this. So you need to define the area first for the finer mesh, for the creation of finer mesh. And if you want to, this area is like less important, you can create a broader mesh. So this is, you can create all these three things under one platform: your collection system, then is your river network, then 2D overland. Now we used Mike Flood for coupling of your river, urban, and 2D overland. In this here itself, we have the option of coupling tools. So you need to choose there, as the coupling is already done. So you can simply edit it, or you can say create couplings. So couple nodes and structures to 2D domain. Yes. All items you can say. Then natural channels and river banks. Couple your natural channels and river banks to your 2D domain. If there is a single channel, you have to define which channel. This is again one by one option that was given once you right click on that graph thing, the mesh. So then river ends, all rivers. So once you say OK, once you say run, the coupling will done at one go. Again, then comes your boundary conditions. Boundary conditions will be different for your collection system, and it will be different for your 2D domain and reverse. So for collection system, it depends that for in collection system for urban areas, the water supply system is or is like we take it as from 135 or 150 LPCD to 180, and 80% of the water we consider as wastewater, or as the sewage water. So accordingly, we calculate the household discharge. So household discharge is your it's if I consider 150 LPCD is my household discharge, that means 0.15 meter cube per day. So on the basis of the population of that particular area, you can calculate the total household discharge, and you can design the collection system accordingly. Now the consumption of water is in 24 hours is not constant, so you can define the diurnal pattern for that. Okay, fine, if you can give the interval of 3 hours or 6 hours. If I say 3 hours, from 0 hours to 3 hours there is no much consumption of water. From 3 to 6 there will be some consumption. Accordingly, you can create a diurnal pattern here. Once you have the diurnal pattern, then you need to give the profile calendar. Profile calendar means you can define weekends and weekdays. So again, the pattern will be different for weekends and pattern will be different for weekdays. You can create two patterns, one for weekdays, one for weekends. And under cyclic profile, you need to assign that diurnal pattern with respect to that profile calendar. And if you have any special day, like water consumption is more on the occasion of Holi, so you can give that special day with the discharge. So if you insert, you can assign that unique date and you can use it as Monday or Tuesday, and you can give a particular discharge for that special day. This will be the boundary condition for household. And if you are including rainfall runoff scenario over it, so you need to provide the rainfall in terms of DFS 2. So for temporal variation, if I say in terms in temporal variation, one can be the constant discharge. Cyclic, that will be for your collection system, as you will assign the diurnal pattern and profile calendar and all those things. It will go as cyclic, because cyclic means repetitive. So you have to give boundary condition for one day and it will go out, repeat itself throughout. For if you are running it for 1 year, 2 years, or whatever. And for this time series, you need to assign the time series. If you are providing rainfall or something, you can assign the time series. If you click on this time series thing, again all those options are coming. And if you click on this cyclic, first you need to provide the value. As I said, for common urban area, we take it as 150 LPCD is the consumption of water. That means in meter cubes per second, 0.15 meter cube per second. And you need to assign the pattern, whatever pattern you have created in this diurnal pattern. So this will be the boundary condition for your collection system. Then if you are providing the rainfall, that also you can give. Then you see sea level. Sea level is the backwater effect from the river. So if I go to map, there are two things. If flooding is happening in this part with respect to collection system, the water will go into the river. And if there is a high water level in this river itself, that you can provide the water level. In terms of coastal, tidal effect. So that backwater effect you can provide. And an inflow to the river, if there is any inflow, that is defining your upstream. Inflow to the river you can define, and this will be your boundary condition. So various scenarios you can create in this. So again, in 2D boundary conditions, that is your defining your 2D surface. And if you want to define, like in this, there's water level given at certain point, and then precipitation and evaporation none, because we have provided the water in the river as well as in the collection system. Then comes your initial conditions. This is the initial conditions for your river level. Again, it's user defined, and this is the initial conditions for your 2D surface. And then result specification is not nothing to work with. You can add various other results if you want to add. Then is your simulation setup. We have chosen all these modules for catchment, time area method, at what point you want to calculate the runoff, or HD, at what point. This is your HD time step, this is your 2D overland time step. In this you can see initial condition is given as a file. There is some file provided. So you have run the model for 2 years and you want to use that results for coming 7 or 8 years in the particular model. Initial condition can be, that result can be utilized as a initial condition. So you need to save your result, and once you run, again in this also, once you run, you'll have the results visualized here, and also wherever you want to save your result, it will get saved in that particular folder. This was actually 3-4 things are there, and I tried to sum up all of them. It was not particularly a hands-on, but I hope that given you the overall overview of both MikeFlood and MikePlus. You just need to get familiar with the graphical user interface. You need to find out that what options are placed where and how that can be used. MikePlus is not complicated, but as it is an integrated, so there are lots of options under one roof, you can say. MikeFlood, you can simply start with Mike Hydro first of all, create a simple 1D HD, then get familiar with 21, and that too with simple one .m21, and try to couple them without urban. Try to couple them in MikeFlood and run and see the results. Then create a simple urban model in MikePlus. Simple urban model in MikePlus, no coupling, nothing. And then put that urban model in MikeFlood again, because it's a 3-way coupling. Then run the model. Then get familiar with that aspect. Once you are very much confident in that aspect, then if you shift yourself to MikePlus, then it will become very easy, because MikePlus is developed for time saving, and you don't need to switch to one software to other software. But if you are new to Mike, start with the basic Mike Hydro River, then get to know about 2D, then MikePlus. You can simply start with directly from MikePlus also. Depends upon you, but it takes it will take a lot of practice basically. So yes, that is all from my side. Again, I request you all go through it. If you have any issues, anything, do write to me, or you can write on mike.in. I have shared one of the presentation with Ajay sir already. If you need any further data that I can share with you, I'll definitely share with you. You can ask for it. So yes, thank you from my side. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Floor is open for question and answer. Thank you. Yeah.
This was a very elaborate discussion on hands-on. It's difficult, but once you practice it, it will become easier.
And we are absolutely front runners to provide any kind of support.
Yeah,
not just to sell the software or things like that, because I'm like from the technical department. But I would like that you get informative, with this software. You may use HECRAS or whatever, but as for the competitive purpose, you must know the tools that are available in the market, and the people who are well versed with Mike, they do get preference in the market. I've seen, yes. So any support, any kind of support, if you require internship license, if you require 1 month practice license, we are always there. We are always there. Please do let me know about that.
I'm waiting. Yeah, Mohan Babu writes very informative and good session.
Thank you, sir.
Most of the people are worried about the attendance link. It is there. The whole session is being recorded and it gets the attendance also. I think, Mani, we can close the session here.
Okay.
Yes, I don't
Yeah,
find that.
if you get any further questions from anyone, you can fast forward it to me.
That will be redirected to you, and
Yes.
your PPT will be shared with them. Okay. So they may directly talk to you. Yes, Malika is writing, sir, I have a very less knowledge about this software use, but now my interest is developed in this field. Right. And that's why this program is organized.
Yes, great to
You
know.
just take keen interest, you just explore the mic software and you get in touch with these people. They are all the time there to help you.
So yes, without wasting any time for all of you, I'll wish you a very happy Diwali again to all of you, prosper and safe to you and your family. And again, yes, if you have any further questions, you can write it to Ajay sir or to me directly, and mike.in@dhigroup.com. And looking forward to hear from you.
Yes, Mr. Mani from Central University, we must thank you for this thing, accepting our offer to deliver the talk. This was a wonderful session. And yes, it's difficult. It's difficult for the beginners, but gradually, if you are getting exposed to such type of model, and within 6 months or 1 year, that you will be comfortable. So with this, we will close the session, and we wish you all a very happy Diwali. And yes, Devashish Panda is also appreciating your lecture. It's very that informative.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank
sir.
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all of you. Yeah.
So tomorrow at 10 we'll meet again for last day. Yeah. We'll share just now.